I'm George Curtis. Welcome to It's Your Environment. We're enjoying your environment today out on the friendly eastern shore of Rush Lake. We're at Suzette's Kitchen, and our guest today is Art Techlow. Art, welcome to the show.
Thank you, George.
This is by popular request. You and Ron Brook were here previously and cooked some game and some fish for us. And a lot of people have called and written and said, when do we get another cooking show? And today we're going to talk about fishing and cooking fish. But I guess, first of all, you have to be a fisherman. And you've got a kind of a philosophy about that.
Well, I do. I've been fishing for actually 49 years, since I was 2 years old. My dad first took me fishing, and I think it's one of the most relaxing pastimes there is. It's kind of a stress reliever, and it's fun to catch fish too and then eat them.
And of course, here in the state of Wisconsin, we're blessed with quite a variety of very edible fish.
Statewide, yes. I mean, it's quite a diversity of species out there, and angling types and opportunities.
And we have fish right before us. Where did these come from?
Well, these are walleye fillets, and actually I was out with my good friend Louis Hafmeister on his dock last night around late in the evening, and on the Fox River, and we caught these last night.
Well, why did the package say 2003 then, Art?
Well, that's probably why you're a good attorney, George, but actually, that's the thing about fishing. You know, you can take a fishing story, embellish it a little bit, and it's quite harmless. So, Louis and I did go fishing, and we actually caught a few freshwater drum and a few bottle bass. But it was just being there was the fun part. The ducks were flying, and there were some other birds, and we got a couple fish, and we had a good time.
And you've got some fish fillets right before you that you're going to cook for us today. And those are the kinds of fish that you can catch just about anywhere in the state of Wisconsin.
Walleye is a real bread and butter fish statewide, from some of the smallest inland lakes to some of the largest lakes and big rivers. And it's a popular fish to go after. It's popular fish in tournaments, and it's a very good eating fish year-round.
Well, let's get started. We're going to be hungry pretty soon. Tell us what we have and what you're going to do to take it from here.
I'm going to keep the theme simple tonight, and that's the way I like to cook. And what we're going to do is, in the first round here, we're going to bake these fillets with just a few seasonings, and then we're going to broil them. And actually, this recipe and this technique works quite well with any fish, including freshwater drum, surprisingly. It's a real good way to make freshwater drum, or some people locally say sheep's head. But any crappie, white bass, walleye, anything like that, and then these nice small to medium-sized fillets that fit on a pan real well are ideal for that.
Now, in order to get them into that state, of course, there was some cleaning involved, and I saw just a little bit of it a few minutes ago. What took place to get them into those beautiful fillets?
Well, the fish were obviously filleted, and then some are frozen, some are fresh, and I actually asked a couple friends to give me these. I trimmed them up a little bit, and then I rinsed them off for a final rinse, and then I patted them dry so they're all ready to cook.
And what's the next step?
The next step is, as I said, I'm going to keep this simple. What we're going to do is just lay out the fillets, and what I've taken is basically a shallow pan, a cookie sheet with an edge, and I've lined it with foil just because it's easier to clean. Well, we're going to put maybe a dozen fillets on this pan. And I think there's a couple white bass in here actually too. But the thing tonight with this baking and broiling is it's a simple way to cook fish, and you don't have the cooking odors of fried fish. You don't have nearly the mess of frying fish. I like to do this when I come home from a day of fishing and clean up the fish, and if I'm hungry, this time of year maybe I get some fresh asparagus from the garden or some other greenery and add that on the side on the plate, and just get these simple ingredients out and make these up real quick. And it's quick and it's easy, and it's actually quite healthy for you.
And you requested a little white wine, Art. Is that for the fish or is that for the cook?
That's for the cook tonight. We don't add that to the fish tonight, but that's for the cook.
And now you've got them laid out in the pan on the foil.
And what we're going to do is, okay, we've got our fillets, we've got a dozen here. We're just going to take a little garlic powder and just sprinkle that lightly over the fillets. This is real simple. Kind of seasoned to taste. Some people sometimes use garlic salt. I use garlic powder, a seasoning salt. In this case, I'm using celery salt. Sometimes I use lemon pepper though. Just cover those fillets a little bit. That'll all meld together. Then I'm going to take, you could use lemon juice, or in this case, I'm going to take fresh lemons. And what I'm going to do is just kind of squeeze that over the fillets. Kind of to suit your taste and get a little juice in the pan. There, that should do it. And then as a final thing, all we do is take some butter, a stick of butter. You can use margarine also, but I'll just cut a few pats off. And what I'm going to do is just place these among the fillets throughout the pan.
And what's the purpose of the butter?
Well, of course, it gives it flavor, and it's also kind of the cooking medium here, so they're not sticking to the pan. It's kind of variable what you use, but I used there a half a quarter-pound stick of butter. And we're basically, that's all it is. We're all set to go to the oven and bake these at 10 to 12 minutes, and then when they're done baking, we're going to broil them on each side for about 4 minutes, just till they firm up. They're a little brown on top.
So let's take a break while you put those in the oven.
Okay.
We'll be right back.